Hi, it's Katie. Welcome to another food prep video. This time, instead of being food prep all from one week, I just picked 3 of my most favorite things from the last several weeks, things that really turned out well that I wanted to share with you. The first one is this new bread recipe that I found on King Arthur Flour's website. I'll list the link down below as well as the adjustments that I made. One of the adjustments is that I just added flax meal. So I added that to the yeast in the water, and you want to make sure you stir that in because flaxseed or flax meal can get sort of gelatinous and hard to mix in. So just stir that into the water before you add all the rest of your ingredients. And flax meal is just ground up flaxseed. So you can buy it pre-ground or you can just get flaxseed and grind it up in a coffee grinder yourself. Another big adjustment I made to this recipe is I switched the amounts of the whole wheat flour and the all-purpose flour. A lot of times with whole wheat bread recipes, the majority of the flour is all-purpose flour. So I just switched those so I have a majority of whole wheat flour and a little bit less all-purpose flour. I've never had a whole wheat bread recipe fail on me for doing that, and it just helps bump up the whole grains. So I mixed my dough, it turned out really nice. Then just drizzle over some olive oil, turn it to coat in the bowl, and then I just put it in my my makeshift proofer to rise. And once it was puffy and risen like that, then I just sort of knocked it down a little bit and formed a loaf. And this is not going to go into a bread pan, it's just going to be sort of a free-form loaf. And I make it, or I shape it pretty similarly to how I shape my hot dog buns. So you can make this a round loaf, or you can make it sort of a long loaf like that. So it's the same concept as making a hot dog bun or a hamburger bun, which I've showed before. You just do it kind of all one piece instead of a bunch of little ones. So I'm just pinching the seam closed on the underside, and then I'm going to put it to rise one more time. And that's what it looked like right before it went into the oven, and then I just baked it according to the recipe. The first loaf I've made, I cut into cubes and I used for my stuffing recipe. And I liked this loaf so well that I made a second loaf, and we just sliced it up, ate it with soup, and just had it for, bread for the week. It was delicious, so I will definitely be making this again. The next thing that turned out really well was making homemade biscuits. And I've made biscuits before. They're really simple. I have frozen dairy-free margarine, or you could use butter. Cut it up into little pieces, pop it back in the freezer, and then you mix together flour and baking powder and salt. And you can even put your flour in the freezer. You want everything to stay ice, ice, ice cold. And then add a little salt for flavor. Like I said, very simple. Then just stir that around, and you're going to cut the cold butter into the flour. So I just use a fork. A pastry blender would work better. You want to work sort of quickly so that the ingredients don't warm up. I ended up going through and just breaking up the larger pieces with my hands. You have to do this pretty carefully because the heat from your hands can warm up your ingredients. And like I said, you want everything to be cold. I even added some ice cubes and stirred around in my milk. I'm using almond milk, but you could use whatever milk you like. And then pull those ice cubes out. I just needed to make my almond milk extra cold. Make a well in the center. Pour your milk in, and you want to stir this together just until it's just barely combined. It's going to look really shaggy. You just want to get most of the flour moistened. Even if there's a little bit of dry, just a little bit, that's fine. You just really don't want to overmix this. So just until it barely comes together. And you're going to turn this out onto your countertop and just kind of pat it together. You don't want to mix it. You're not kneading it in any way, shape, or form. You want to keep this nice and tender for your biscuit. So I actually included the entire real-time mixing. It was less than 45 seconds, and I'm just very gently mixing all of the flour in until it makes sort of this loose, shaggy dough. And then I'm going to turn it onto the counter with some flour and just kind of pat it into some sort of shape. I just cut mine with a knife. So I just put it into a rectangle, or you could just pat it out and use a round biscuit cutter or cookie cutter. Just make them pretty much any size or shape that you want. Just make sure they're sort of evenly shaped and sized so they bake at the same time. So just cut them into pieces. I added a little flour to my knife just so that it wouldn't stick. And I think I got 9 biscuits out of this recipe. So just cut 3 slices and then cut those 3 slices into 3 biscuits. And I baked some right away. They turned out great. And the thing that I was kind of testing out was whether or not I could freeze these and bake them later. So I just put them on a cutting board there, covered them with a towel, and put them in the freezer till they were solid. The next day or the next morning, I just removed them and packaged them up a little bit nicer. If I was gonna save these for even longer term, I might have food savored them, but I was just, gonna have these in the freezer for about a week. And they stuck to my cutting board, so put down a piece of plastic wrap or wax paper or something to make it easier to remove. My container wasn't big enough, so I just put them in another container. And whenever I bake these, I just baked them for another, I think it was about 2 minutes more. Just keep an eye on them, and when they're golden brown like that, they're ready to go. They taste just as good as freshly made, and they're so convenient to have them in the freezer. My third success recently was making potato soup with cashew cream. So all I did was soak some cashews. You only need to soak them till they get soft, so just a few hours. You don't need to soak them overnight. You're not neutralizing anti-nutrients or anything like that in the case of cashews. So soaked cashews, add some water. I think I added about 3/4 of a cup. You can add however much water to get the consistency you like. And I just blend it up in my Vitamix until it's smooth and thick and creamy. And you can use this as a finishing cream for all sorts of soups and sauces. It has a really mild flavor and just the perfect texture. There you can see it in my potato soup. So those are the 3 things I wanted to share with you, but I thought I'd give you a few sneak peeks of things I'm working on. I'm making a fermented cranberry relish recipe. I'm making a video for my sourdough starter that I'm working on, and also fermented green beans. So keep your eye out for each of those videos coming soon. I hope you enjoyed my video, got some tips from it, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.